Hey, what's up? It's the First Lady Faith Evans, aka Big 50 from the Bricks, y'all. And I'm right here on thisis50.com. I want all of y'all to make sure you check out the upcoming documentary on the late great Notorious B.I.G. called Biggie, The Life of the Notorious Big, debuting on A&E on September 4th. That's Labor Day. So after them cookouts, y'all had y'all cocktails and y'all hot dogs, tune in, set your DVR, A&E. That's right, y'all. Biggie, what's it called? Hashtag Life of Biggie. That's how we doing it.
This is 50.com. I am DJ Thoreau.
Yo, I'm just excited to be next to Faith Evans. Turn up is real. They call me the Heineken.
Who, me? My name is DJ Big Fizzy. I represent Brick City on the ones and twos.
All right. Damn, we got to have the turntables in here so she can get busy.
Faith, what's going on, darling?
Oh, man, we just chilling, you know. Just having a little, little refreshing drink in the middle of the day.
I'm the designated driver because I don't drink, so I got to make sure they get home.
Neither do I. It's watermelon juice.
Watermelon in the cup right here. Yo. How are you able to stay relevant over the years in a world where, this culture can get microwaved real quick, and the artists get microwaved real quick?
Should I take that as you saying that I am relevant?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Niggas give a fuck.
Well, no, I'm just saying I don't know. I don't know that I have a blueprint to that. I don't even know if I necessarily look at my walk like that, but I know that I'm definitely blessed to still be here, even talking to you about whatever it might be.
Yeah.
So many years after I came on the scene in the music business. But I think for many reasons, I'm here for a lot of reasons. I was here because God felt like I had a gift, and I think that extends beyond my music. I think that there's a lot more to me that people connect with outside of my music. So I guess all of that kind of plays a part in it.
Right. Yeah, I want to go from the beginning. How did you even get into music or knew you could sing?
Well, I was singing since I could talk, really. Okay. I remember the first time I remember singing in front of like an audience, I think I was between the ages of 2 and 3.
Wow.
And I used to, I used to love the Flintstones and the Jetsons. And there was this episode of the Flintstones where Pebbles and Bam Bam performed at the amphitheater. It was supposed to be like the Hollywood Bowl. I'm probably aging.
She got a great memory.
You older?
Yeah, I'm 38.
I'm 44.
Okay.
So you remember this episode? Mm-hmm. Okay, all right then. So this song they sang was called "Let the Sun Shine In."
Yeah.
And I don't know why, but for some reason I ended up in front of the church congregation singing that song from from the Flintstones as my first song.
Right.
But I think my auntie or somebody probably was like, sing that song you always sing at the house. Mm-hmm. I'm assuming. And after that, they wanted me to get in the kids' choir, and I was real young and too young, but they still put me in the choir. So I started singing in church, and then over the years, I was like the designated funeral singer, wedding singer, sang in my jazz band at school. I sang everywhere I could, pageants, retirement parties, anywhere.
Did your family feel a way when you transitioned into hip hop? Mm-hmm. Or what was that like when they first seen you performing and singing? They saw you in the videos.
Well, I don't know if I necessarily transitioned so much me, but because I always sang at other places aside from church, but growing up in the black church, there's this whole big, devil, they kind of, especially older generations, they look at it as a whole different thing. Like that doesn't really maintain what's in my heart and how I live my life. And I'm not out here singing about the devil per se. Like I don't know where, that's such a stretch to just make it into the devil's music. Like,
the devil's
but
music.
I always kind of saw beyond that, and I think because I was so, I don't know, I just always had this certain thing. Like I used to get whoopings for sneaking out to the studio in the Bronx. It wasn't even it wasn't like that was a part of my plan. I knew I was gonna get a record deal, but I was just learning how to record myself and doing stuff that they didn't know I was doing, but it ended up really, really serving a purpose in my life later on. So I don't know, God just had a plan.
Do you think the church homegrown your skills? Because a lot of famous singers like Aretha Franklin, the staple singers, they all come from church and gospel backgrounds. Mm-hmm. Do you think that molded you?
Absolutely. I mean, it certainly is the reason why, singing in a choir, just being able to have the ability to understand harmonies and stuff. But sometimes, even if I didn't sing in a choir, first of all, let's start with you I would think it's better to have an actual gift. Some people are, being a singer and actually, or becoming a singer as a career and being a singer, like this is just what I've been doing all my life.
Right.
It's totally different things. That's not placing judgment on people who didn't grow up doing it the way I did, but I'm just saying mine was informed from so many different ways. My church influenced my being able to stack harmonies and do my backgrounds and listening to the Clark sisters, who's like my biggest inspiration,
Yo, you
stuff
taking-
like that, you know. But luckily they were gospel artists who just happened to be so bomb that, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I've studied them up and down, back and forth. I never knew I would become cool with them, do records with them, you know. So I don't know. I just kind of was consistent with my studying the greats.
Right.
You know, everybody from like Ella Fitzgerald. I listened to all types of music growing up.
It was dope you brought up the Clark sisters because Jay-Z just sampled one of their records
Yeah.
and put everybody onto
Well,
them.
you know, I've been talking about them for years.
Right, you're right.
I did a
Yeah,
record. No shade to Jay-Z. I'm so glad that,
right.
you know, an artist of that caliber, you know, sampled them because, you know, there's people who don't know about them.
Right.
There's people that don't realize that they were groundbreaking when they did a record that was considered disco with You Brought the Sunshine.
Right.
You know, with them being from the church. But I thought that was really dope. I was happy for them that he sampled them. But I did a record with Karen Clark right after my first album.
Right.
One of their sons is actually my musical director for my band.
Okay.
So I've actually developed a really good relationship with the family.
What was the grind like for you getting to where you were trying to get to go? Because now there was no social media. This industry was real more tight-knit where you had to know somebody to know somebody. What was that like for you getting through the door?
It's very crazy because I know that in one way, somebody could hear how it happened for me and it might sound like such an easy breezy thing. Only because, okay, let me start with again. I didn't grow up saying, oh, I want to be a recording artist. I want to make records. I just knew I wanted to make money singing. So that could have been, I heard jingles paid a lot. I heard that's what Luther did. I thought I wanted to do that for a minute. I'm like, I might be in a hotel at a expensive hotel singing at the thing with the piano man. I don't know.
Right.
I just want to make money and make a living doing, you know, using my gift. So I don't think I looked at it in the way in the moment how things were really happening for me, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? Like, I went to the studio like as a ride for my baby daddy when I met Puff. Well, I met him before that when I was pregnant, but I mean, this particular night, I was in the lounge with my daughter. Her dad was trying to get a song on Usher's first project, which Puff was producing, and they needed somebody to sing a female part on a record. I just happened to be there and happened to be able to sing. Wow. And when I went in there, this is after all them years of me getting whoopings from sneaking out to go to this studio in the Bronx that I had no idea would pay off for me later on.
What was you going to the Bronx for? Just
to go to the studio because the dude taught me how to record myself. So I was producing
South
myself
Bronx?
right by Fordham. Fordham Road in 183rd, I believe.
Okay, I know.
That's Northeast.
Yeah.
But, you know, I was already very much sort of professional. It was just a hobby, though. But when I went in that booth and asked Mr. Puffy, can I change this? It was one or two lines. And I'm just some girl from church just coming to sing. I didn't come to do it, but ended up singing. I said, can I change it around? And I know he ain't had no idea I was about to go hook it up. I did all these harmonies and rearranged it. And as soon as I walked out, he asked me, did I want to sign to his new label?
Damn,
Now, that might sound real simple to somebody, but again, my path to that wasn't necessarily I'm trying to get to that. I had done many other things and got whoopings and got caught up in many situations trying to be somewhere because I could sing or be there to sing before that. But that just happened to be my entry into the actual recording business.
What was your first impressions of Puffy meeting him?
Yeah.
Yeah,
He was very direct.
Like, what was a memorable exchange?
I mean, exchange, I don't know, because we didn't have a whole lot of exchanges in the beginning. I do remember me being afraid to ask for, like, once he started having me come to the studio to write on, like, Mary's My Life and Usher's first album. He was working on those projects while we were negotiating my deal. And I would be going to the studio, and then I had heard about these writers' fees and stuff, so I'm thinking, you know, I thought it was supposed to be like an automatic thing. I didn't know. You know, I thought somebody gonna come and hand me something and say, hey, but then I realized like I wasn't getting it. So I would have talked to him had I been mature enough, but I wrote him a letter like, excuse me, Mr. Puffy.
You want your money?
Right? I'm coming to the studio. You know, my daughter was little. I'm breaking down in the tunnel. Just, you know, it's a part of my grind.
Yeah.
And I was like, I had to write him a letter about getting a writer's fee. So I did start at some point getting, paid at the end of the week, because I was going to all these sessions and writing on songs. And don't get me wrong, publishing is great, but at that time I was on welfare, honey, and I needed, some coins in that pocket, some cane.
What's your thoughts on the Big documentary? Like, how did you feel about it, reliving those memories?
You mean the one that we're doing right now with Annie?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm really proud of it. I'm so happy that we chose to give Annie our blessing and to, go in with executive producing the project with them, because did you get a chance to see it yet?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Well, everybody that has seen it, is certainly receiving it in the way that we want it, and that's coming away from it with more of a feeling of, more about Christopher Wallace, and just really kind of the endearing things that made us love him so much, and things that might even change certain people's judgment on things that they had preconceived notions about, just based on them not even knowing the person that he was or the type of person he was.
You didn't feel like the movie didn't portray the way for your vision?
It's not even that, but the movie Notorious
yeah.
was not. That was more a project that Miss Wallace produced with by Storm, Big's managers.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we the blessing of the estate, but it's not like it's totally different, because Notorious, I think, what people don't realize, was based on different people's recollections of moments with him, and also interviews that Cheo Coker, who wrote the screenplay, did with Big. But it's totally different doing a biopic or something like that with the person not being in it or being a consultant on it. Because we can't say what he would have wanted to present in a movie about his life. But by the same token, this documentary is. It starts from his childhood. It kind of takes you through the whole movement of how he grew up, how she raised him, as opposed to this artist and this person that his lyrics made you perceive that he was, It's two totally different people almost. Like, he had to kind of take off that costume when he walked in Miss Wallace's house and be Christopher.
Right. Speaking of Christopher, how did you meet him? And what was your first, impression of him when you met him?
Big and I met at a photo shoot that Puff had put together for his new artist on the label.
Okay.
And he had already been signed since they were at Uptown, but he didn't know that Puff signed a female solo artist. Total was already signed, Craig Mack and Big, I think, and then me. So this was the first time we met at this photo shoot, and he said he had seen me coming in and out of Hit Factory a few times, but I guess he thought I was a session singer or something, whatever. Mm-hmm. But yeah, he didn't know I was signed to the label. So he started a conversation with me when we were on a break, and I was looking through some of my photos that I had recently gotten developed, and he started conversation, and Hurricane G was with me, because I picked her up. I dropped my daughter at Redman's house, and Hurricane G asked me to give her a ride to Brooklyn after my photo shoot. So when Big sees this girl who he doesn't know, me, and he sees her, and then we're together, I'm sure was curious, like, what's this, how you know her? He found out I was taking her back to Brooklyn, and he asked me, could I drop him and his boys off on my way to take her? And it was like 5 or 6 of them.
Right.
And, I said, yeah, they joked the whole way back. And then when I dropped him off, he told me he was going to call me, and I hadn't given him my phone number.
Smooth operator.
Right, and he had taken my number off the envelope with my pictures on it. So, he had his little slick ways. And he did actually call me the next day, and then we started hanging out after that every day.
Okay, nice.
You put in that, he was like, oh,
He's
man.
He was a player for real, right?
So you put in that
Learn
work.
something from
He
Big.
was like, I'm going to call you. And I'm like, yeah, okay, but, you don't have my
not
number.
knowing that he had your number.
Right, exactly.
So when he called you, you were like, how did you get my
Exactly.
Like, what the fuck?
Exactly.
Not too long ago, the world just witnessed the reunion of Bad Boy. You guys did the city tours or whatever. What was that like, rekindling all those feelings and relationships and performing all that music and giving yourself new light and everything? What was that like?
The Bad Boy tour for me was a lot of fun, and it was actually a first, because it was a first in the sense of me going on a tour with Puff and the family, because when they did that 20 years ago, I was the one who didn't go, because of, me and Big was separated, and they wanted me to do it for free, and I was already getting money for doing my single.
Yo, Puff is a gangster.
On the weekend, they was like, it's promotional. It's promotional. I'm like, promote these nuts.
Hold on. Let me get this straight. This is right after Big dies?
No. This is before Big. This is back.
And you're his wife?
Right, but we operated totally separately with our, careers and business.
But still, he's the,
Listen.
And he wanted you to do it for free, even though.
It don't even matter, because never was that going to happen. Never was that going to happen, ever. Trust me.
Huh?
Right.
Per diem.
Per diem. But the thing is, I already had like 2 gold singles, an almost platinum album, and I was getting paid at least like $7,500 to sing 2 singles on the weekend. Right. So on one night. So why am I gonna go be in drama with him and his girls? You know what I mean? Like, no, that's not, no. Why would I even, where does that make sense? And it makes $0. We already know that part. So, $0, 0 cents. I'm just saying. I mean, I made the right decision. I didn't go. So for me, back to your question. This was the first time I chose to do but I have done plenty of shows over the years with like Total, 112, a lot of different combinations of us. I've never done a tour or shows with that level of production. Right. So that was a great thing, just to be and to relive and to see exactly in every city how our music really touched people, because the reaction was the same in every single city. They thought, I mean, people still saying that was one of the, if not the best show they ever been to.
Singers.
So to even have been a part of that was a great thing. I had a good time.